Hey everybody, welcome to the Unreal Engine live stream.
Hello, hello.
And today with me are Wyeth and Smedis, and we're going to be talking about Protostar in just a little bit. But first, the news. Shelly, let's get over to this main screen. Wait.
There's something there.
You said to hide it, and then I did. Okay. So, first things up, just a reminder, GDC is next week if you aren't already in the know, and you should be by now. And we are going to be there. We will be at booth 1024, so 1024, which we're all pretty excited about having that number. But also, we've just announced the GDC VR Lounge. We've curated a range of outstanding VR experiences for you to try out the show this year. On the third floor of the Moscone West section of the building. I've admittedly not been to this building before, so I don't know where Moscone West is. But if you go there, we're right next to the Indie Mega booth and the Train Jam for the VR Lounge. So go check it out, see all these experiences. There's like a lot of unannounced stuff. It's going to be crazy. Awesome. See you guys there. And
It's going to be great.
yeah, come hit me up at the booth too. You know, I'm going to be standing at the booth for the vast majority of it. So, all right. Next news is we've got an update. We've got Preview 7 is now out. And sorry, someone had to sneak in the room real fast. Sorry, I got distracted. Preview 7 is now out for 4.11, so check it out. Huge new list of fixes, but we know that there's probably still more stuff that you guys want to report and fix. So go in, try it, report the bugs on Answer Hub. Let Steve and Alice know in the thread that something's up, and we will have people investigate and fix it. And there's a few known issues right now with this one and Mac crashes, I think. All right, last thing, Shelly, we have a special picture.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. So, special picture, there we go. The Epic GDC After Party is going to be Wednesday, March 16th from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. It is an open bar. It is at the Grand 520 at 4th Street. Please attend. Have fun. This is a good place to just have a good time. If you're going to be at GDC, you know it gets kind of stressful, and then the parties are a nice place to go and relax. So it's 21 plus only, of course, because it's open bar. So sorry, guys. Please attend. Please come say hi. I know I'm going to be there. Tons of people from Epic are going to just be there. Shelly will be there.
I'll be there.
You guys are both being there?
Oh, yes.
All right. It's going to
Definitely.
be a party then. Oh,
Make sure you bring your GDC badge. You have to show it at the door.
that's correct. Yes. Good point. Bring your GDC badge. And bring your ID also, if that wasn't clear. You know, it's a little important. All right. That's it for the news today. I'm going to hop over and get the community spotlight. Sorry I'm doing things a little bit differently. We're having some weird reflection issues off of this image over here or something. So, yeah, no, that's it. No, jump over. I'm explaining them. That's right. So, I wanted to point out, if you haven't seen John Alcatraz's fantastic demo, it's a good tech demo as of right now, but it's an infinite voxel world, which is a Minecraft-style game that he's made. It's astounding. Kind of came out of nowhere. We didn't even know he was working on this, and it looks fantastic. It's super, everyone who sees it kind of says it looks like you're playing Minecraft, but with all of the high definition packs and all the like hardcore resolution packs, and it really does.
It's funny what a little bit of atmospheric fog does to your perception of scale and depth.
Isn't it?
It goes a long way, yeah.
Yeah, especially the way that the sun kind of goes through the leaves, like all the stuff, the motion blur, all these little things, they add up and they really add a lot to it. He has complete breakdown. It's 100% blueprints, no C++, which is actually the most interesting thing to me. And he's actively in the thread, answering questions, talking to people.
It's great.
I got pinged from him earlier, and I think he might be trying to do a VR thing with it, guys. So just hold on to your hats. There's more coming. All right. Next up, we have a video. Shelly, I believe, got the video loaded. And I have to preface this by saying we haven't paired up with Nintendo for anything. We're just showing this because it's particularly cool. But I knew that if we showed this, it would probably have a lot of people asking questions. And you can thank Chance. He's the one that suggested we throw this one in the community spotlight this week. Yeah, I'm a huge Pokemon nerd, so I couldn't argue against this. I was telling Shelly there's actually some inaccuracies in here because I'm such a huge nerd. I know
You're
some.
being a total nerd.
Admit that to no one. Oh wait, you just admitted that to everyone.
So you see that laptop over there? That didn't even exist when the show came out.
I like seeing the non-photoreal projects as well as the photoreal projects.
Yeah.
So it's a cool combination of.
Yeah, the stylized, but also using that kind of realistic lighting effects.
Yep.
And, It becomes a nice blend. Wow. So much memories right here.
Looks good.
And then all the different kinds of Pokeballs. Nice. See how it ends with your very own Pokemon Legends about to unfold? That's why I had to preface it with saying, actually, whoa, because I know a lot of people are going to see that and immediately assume. But no, it's just a gorgeous kind of ArcViz/stylized project. Just really cool. All right, so back to main monitor. Speaking of ArcViz and great rendering projects, striving for photorealism in UE4. Now, the person who created this, I can't pronounce their user handle. Ian O'Brien? I don't know, but... Yoin O'Brien? That's Shelly's guess. Yoin O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yoin O'Brien sounds good.
I'm going with it.
From Dublin, so
Yeah, I
close enough.
sure. I don't know. I'm really good at pronouncing foreign names. There you go. These are just various landscapes, but the grass material looks fantastic. It's this fuzzy grass,
Nice.
and this, I think it was this GIF that sold me on it. I saw this and was like, oh, okay, so this guy kind of just did a fly through. No, this is all rendered. Yep, that's all in engine, and then there's larger
nice.
scale images of it too. I think there's even a couple of breakdowns of how it was done farther down here. Larger images, and
The fuzzy shading model that gives it that little
Mhm.
bit of kind of a velvety Fresnel
There you
is
go.
really what sells it. It's very cool.
that's what kind of
Very
gets everyone. And then Ian O'Brien, however we're pronouncing it,
Ian
is
O'Brien.
of course active in the thread, answering your questions. Please come into the thread, ask how did you make it beautiful yet fuzzy, and so real. This is just very impressive. I think I had this up as pick of the day on the community tab and all that also. Just really fantastic work and beautifully rendered.
And literally every project in the world has grass. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
such a universal thing. So,
Absolutely.
to see advances from the community with rendering when it comes to the simple stuff, in some ways that helps the community the most.
Yeah, it's right up here when you're
great.
looking at that ridge, and you know that feeling when you look at it. It's like that feels like I'm looking at a bunch of plains that have a grass
Sure.
image drawn on them, and then this is glorious.
Very nice.
All right, yep, that is all for the community spotlight. That was a cool effect. Thank you, Shelly. That was nice. So yeah, let's talk feature presentation. We've got Protostar, here, and we've got the various creators here. But first, for those of you that aren't initiated yet, that haven't quite seen this, Shelly's going to roll some footage, and we're going to show you this beautiful demo.
This is all running in real time on the Samsung Galaxy S7 mobile phone. So this is a mobile demo using all of the latest and greatest graphical techniques that are available to us in UE4. Many things that were created specifically for this demo that we've never seen before on mobile, and in fact that nobody else has ever done on mobile. And we'll break it out and go into a features breakdown after this, so we can talk about all the cool, sexy things that we added to the renderer and to as features for the demo itself. But yeah, it's a real-time demo, runs at 1080p, and it was really, really kind of fun to make.
This is made for as a showcase to show how awesome the S7 can be, which uses the new rendering API Vulkan.
Mm-hmm.
So Vulkan is a industry forged API that brings basically low-level console-style performance to cross-platform. And Samsung is the first phone, this Samsung S7 is the first phone that actually supports Vulkan. So this demo was shown